Giselle is back to give us an update on a few of the PALS cases and fundraiser events. Good morning, Giselle, and welcome back to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning to both of you.
Let us recap the children that were helped in 2022 and those that you would have already started helping in 2023.
So for 2022, we actually, obviously coming out of COVID, we still had, I suppose, urgent cases that we still had to help, but in a different environment. And we had to be very creative as to where we can send them and what hospitals would take them, because WPP, our partner, World Pediatric Project, was pretty much closed down on St. Vincent on missions. Yeah. But in 2022, we got off to quite a roaring start, sadly, but we had to get a lot of children who were on a wait list and had not made it out in 2020. So we were at 32 children, 32 cases of critical care, really, in 2022 that PALS assisted in getting overseas for varying medical conditions, stemming from, I might have some notes here, but anything from knee surgeries to heart, to conditions that we are not able to deal with here. And we partner also with social services who assist us in the cost on some of those cases. So for 2023 so far, we are probably at about 8 cases to date.
Okay. Well, you're doing very meaningful work. Let's talk a little bit about the cardiology clinic that was hosted in 2022. I understand it correctly?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So WPP, again, our World Pediatric Project, our main partner, they have, over the years, we have to monitor children's progress, obviously, following major surgeries or conditions, or children who have shown signs of cardiology issues have to be monitored to ensure that those issues do not, need surgery, etc. So what happened last year in 2022, we were able to host a cardiology clinic in St. Kitts through World Pediatric Project, through their 2 cardiologists, pediatric cardiologists, who came to St. Kitts, and this was hosted up at JNF with the oversight of the 2 cardiologists who came in to work with PALS, along with the team at JNF, the nurses. My role that day was to help with registration of those children coming in. They were done, the EKGs were done, and a follow-up checkup for those who had surgery, those who didn't, but had been seen by WPP previously. And that's always very easy on the parents, much easier on the child. They don't have to travel, easy on PALS. We don't have to fund all this travel in the region or elsewhere. And so that's always really a positive move. They're in a very comfortable condition. They're with their parent. They're at home. The parent obviously is also, it's just a lot less stress on the family. So we're hoping again this year to be able to host another one sometime later this year. Not sure that I actually have that date, but it's probably going to be later down. And we have another 12 to 14 children for that one. And we hope to host a orthopedic clinic also, where we have about 8 children so far for non-urgent surgeries, knees, hands, deformities, club feet, and then they can be seen here. And if needed surgery, then they will go off to the mission and then have the surgery later.
So what can you tell us about the children that would have recovered?
Some parents obviously, we try not to speak on specifics, Okay. But mostly we have been very fortunate in that there are hiccups with any surgeries. There are times, yes, when, like recently, I'll give you a case. We have a child who was scheduled for heart surgery. We had very recently, if you follow a page, I don't know, it's very active. We can list some cases, we don't list all. We always have to be very cognizant of the privacy of these families and the children. But one child, unfortunately, going in, was not able to have the surgery because they discovered at Health City in Cayman that the child had a lung issue. So that child is currently going to come back home, and we're going to wait about 6 months and will be monitored until that surgery can be done. So yes, you do come up with some hiccups, but the good news is they were so thorough before going into surgery that they were able to do all these, all of the tests prior to surgery, and then realize that it wouldn't be wise at this point. The child needs to recover a bit more from this. But in general, we have had, there are cases, sadly, over the years where we have lost a child mainly to cancer. And so while you want all your cases to be full recovery, there's some cases where, especially with something like cancer, that it's not always, but we've had some good cases in terms of positive outcomes on cancer also, with brain tumors that have been caught in time, and the child has and is still being monitored today. I mean, years later, 5-6 years later, they're under a program where they have to be visiting those hospitals every year and being monitored to ensure that the cancer does not return and that it's under control. Yeah.
Well, since your work is so very important, I'm pretty sure that some of our viewers can't wait to find out what those fundraising activities are that you have planned to figure out how they can donate or participate in that way.
Yeah, that's always important. So we were in 2020, you can imagine, we had our fundraiser in February. It's a Valentine's fundraiser that we do annually at Spice Mill. And it's usually our big, huge fundraiser. And what we try to do during that period of time is we time it so that we can capture all of the visitors, or we call them the snowbirds, who have homes here and back home in the cold, whether it's the US or Canada or the UK. And they are huge fans of PALS. And so we try to put this on while they're here so that we can capture their support. So we had that event, and then COVID came, right? We had it in February. You know what happened in March? It was just a month later. So we hadn't had any opportunity to raise funds between that period of time with any sort of open events. But, we have stalwart supporters and those members who just, would send a check in, our business, local business here that would support us and still remain active. So that really helped us. And then we just were able to host our big event again last month in February at Spice Mill, where we had a sold out, I would say oversold, because we changed our concept a bit in 2021. We thought instead of having the usual auction, if you remember, we would have this massive auction of prizes and donors and stores. We thought we won't go after the retailers and the business community because they were just coming out of COVID. Why don't we have a dinner show? And so we came up with this idea of a dinner show, and we had Denise Gordon. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, out in Nevis.
Yes, of course we are.
Yeah. So she sang with Jazik, and we had served dinner, plated dinner that Spice Mill put on. Very different to what we had done before. Sold out at 150 in the first year, and then this year it was like, I think went up to 195 or something. I mean, it was oversold. It was getting a bit scary on the numbers. But how does a charity say no when somebody wants to buy a ticket for $250 and you have your band and your dinner and you have to raise funds? And then at this point, I should say thank you to all of our sponsors that night, because that was, without them, that was not going to be possible. So we have quite a few people, businesses, the hotels that gave all of the auction prizes. So that those always raise a lot of money. People bid on those weekends away. So it was very successful. We always aim to raise at least, hopefully, 100,000. Sounds like a lot of money. But when I tell you about these cases, I think, the money, that is gone. So we had a resounding response. We raised at the end, I think our final figures are somewhere about 135. Yeah.
Congratulations, that's nice.
And that's net. That's after all our expenses that we had. But again, the sponsors are crucial, and the support of all our volunteers that night, because everyone who works is working for charity. We make no bones about that. If you're coming to help us that night, you will be fed, but you're here for charity, and everyone understands that. It's never been an issue.
What about upcoming fundraisers? We already had the big one. Are there other ones during the year?
So yeah, we're thinking about, we have the big fundraiser, and then we get so busy with the cases, and it's constant. We've had, as I say, these 8 already, and they've been pretty intense cases. 3 heart, cancer, and you're just sort of, our president, Carolyn Chisholm, she's overseas at the moment, but she's constantly having to organize with hospitals and pulling, expertise from here, there to assist. And we are limited in our capacity as an island from a health standpoint. We wish we had someone on the ground that could really take on a lot of that. And she's almost had to become sort of none of us are medically inclined in any sort of way, but we've had to learn over time. She knows the lingo, she knows how to reach out to those hospitals, she knows how to speak to them and get to the right places, she knows how to beg, plead, borrow, she knows.
She's got the knack.
She's got the knack, and she is amazing at getting these children placed into these hospitals. Some we'd only have a relationship with, but it's just giving the talk and explaining our situation. So that alone is just busy. PALS is always busy. And they come in spurts. They never come one at a time. It's always a group. And then the coordination to get the families overseas. Some have never traveled. You have to remember that. So you're briefing families and parents about traveling and how to, how it's going to go. And preparing them for visas and sending them to Barbados to get the visa first. So there's a lot of other things that are happening there. So, but we have thought about doing a family fun day. That is something, a new concept that we've thought about, a family fun day with the children. Some of our kids, from some of our PALS children, can be there at the function. And the parents have been offering to say, well, we'd like to help you with something one day. So we thought, well, why not probably do a family fun day where we can do it on a pasture somewhere, we can have games and, entertainment for the children, and then food to sell to raise money, and activities or games that you can pay to do a game. So that is a concept that we have in mind. We know we're going to need, again, support and volunteers and everyone to come and pull it together. But that is a new concept. Nevis, because we've had several cases in Nevis. We have had businesses in Nevis. We've had restaurants approach us and say, listen, we're right here, we're happy to help you with an event when you're ready to do one across the water to help. So yeah.
I love that. I love that they're approaching you, so it's not just you, No,
Nevis has been, I have to tell you, they have been, and I'd like to raise now the Four Seasons Resort. They have every time we've asked for, and actually all the hotels in Nevis, you put in a request for a weekend stay or for something for your auction. It's never really, the yes comes very quickly. I'd like to say here too that, we've had the Park Hyatt, we've had the Marriott. All the hotels have always responded when we ask for support to auction something.
Yeah.
Down to Valley's Tent Rental and SNL Lighting and Toucan Sound. I can go on about the companies, the businesses that have just helped us to pull that event off with the support that they give us year after year after year. Your own Randy Transportation, always moving our people over for us. Yeah. Without all of that, really and truly, it would make the night way more expensive for us. And then, it's all about the bottom line. What did we raise for the charity at the end of the day? How much money is in the kitty to send these kids off? and get these families settled and stuff.
Very important. All right, so people are listening, obviously. They might want to become members of PALS. How do they do that? What's the registration process like?
Pretty easy, and most people think, I think perception is everything. A lot of people think it must be expensive to become a member of PALS. It's not, but we have different tiers. We have, in the corporate structure, we have, we have 5 categories for a company that wishes to join and become our annual partner. That sort of locks that company in. Well, not really, because COVID, that didn't, we didn't apply that. But would you like to join as a corporate partner of PALS? You can come in at a platinum, and you go right down to bronze. Now that goes up to 10,000, from 2,000 to 10,000 is the categories. So we have our corporate partners, and at this point, I would like to say that RAMS has been a stalwart partner through thick and thin. And have just increased the commitment this year for us. Once companies and businesses can see that what is happening with that charity and what are they doing, and that it's actually making a difference, I think that's really the key. We have other corporate partners, which, the list is pretty long if I got into naming them all, but I just raised the RAMS because of their level. We have other companies that give us year after year, and if I may, maybe at some point I can send you a list of those, but it's important that we do thank them. And I do have to thank my own team at Harper's, because they just do everything that we need without even, and that's my staff, that's them doing it very willingly. So that's important to thank them, not because they belong to me. I don't say thank you to them. And so for individuals who would wish to join, you can join, and you can just become a member of PALS, and you can pay an annual, just $100 to be a member, right? And that's just an annual membership calendar fee. But then you can go up to 300, and you go to 5, you can become a trustee. Right? So you can move up those tiers as you want to get more involved in a charity. You can climb up the ladder, and that's how I started. I started when I was 24. I became a member of PALS. That's how long PALS has been about. And I was just a member, and I was just working. I gave $100, annually. I got this little report about these children. And back in those days, it was maybe 5, 6 children for a whole year. And then as I continued working and earning more as I got older, I just put a little bit more, became 300. Okay, oh great, I'm now, so you, and then I'm a trustee. Wow, $1,000 a year, whatever. Yeah. But so it gives you that option, and then periodically you can give a donation if you wish. And even if you're not a member, you can we have a box that we just change into at Harper's. Someone doesn't want their change, it's $2. We say, okay, drop it in the box, and that little box. From just people coming in, or just put in $5, $10, whatever, in that box. You'd be surprised in a year, that box adds up. So I always tell people, don't be scared. No, there's no amount that's just too small. Exactly. And then what we do at Harper's is we match that box at the end of the year. So if it's $1,000 in the box that we added up over, and we give $1,000. So there are ways to raise money. It doesn't have to be big amounts, because those little amounts add up, and your time is valuable. So if you can't give, but you want to give time, or you want to help with a fundraiser, or you want to volunteer at the door for the big event or whatever, those things are hugely valuable to us, your time.
So for persons that may want, after looking at this, may want to donate, what are the contact details for them to donate? For them to donate?
Yes. Most donations, because PALS, again, we try to run an operation with zero cost. Okay, we want every dollar raised to go to help a child. We have no offices, we have no admin fees, we have everything. The team and the board, it's all volunteer. So we don't have a particular location, so we use Harper's as that spot. So Harper's is like our official drop-off point. Okay. So any donations that you wish to leave, you could leave there at Harper's, and in the name of the Pediatric Assistance League of St. Kitts Nevis, you can just put PALS on the check. It doesn't have to, and then we do our deposits regularly, and then we're able to capture the name of the person and, you know, get a database going where we can follow up if they want to become a member.
Okay.
Eventually. So they can do that. We also have an account at Republic Bank. They can, again, just deposit directly at Republic Bank at the counter. Just I'd like to donate these funds to PALS, to the Pediatric Assistance League. So that's also another option that you can do. And those are really the two main options. And then we have a newsletter that we prepare annually, so our members see what, and even on Facebook we put it up because people in general, the general public is interested to know what are they doing, what are they about. And that newsletter gives you a synopsis of the year's activities and the cases for the year, fundraisers, anything like a cardiac clinic, or all of the missions in St. Vincent that are taking place, or any special cases that went beyond the heart surgeries. We have a little boy just had a brain shunt put in last week. That was successful. So cases that are becoming a bit more, over the years I've seen the cases change. You know, we're having quite a few children with cancer. We're seeing children with seizures, the amount of seizures. And now we have some heart issues here. So seeing over the years, the level of cases are more complex than what we used to see back then. But again, the world has changed, our habits have changed, and obviously we're more exposed in general. And so you're gonna see maybe some children are not drinking, you know, we have cases of the scoliosis. You know, say, well, up to a certain age, you should really drink milk because it's strengthening the bones. So you're seeing lifestyle changes, and then you're just seeing, we live in this global world now, you know, so we are now exposed. So I think that's about it in cases, but giving you a, but we have to thank World Pediatric Project because they've been our main partner, and they support all the children in the region. It's not just St. Kitts, it's World Pediatric Project on their mission for the Eastern Caribbean, and that is held in St. Vincent, where the children go there and have these surgeries where the doctors come in, and they have set up facilities in St. Vincent, and that's where all these surgeries take place. And so the investment in this region is astronomical. What we pay for, what PALS takes care of, is not that surgery, because they're our partner. That's paid for. We pay for the air, the accommodation, the transportation, the stipend. If a child has to go off to the US, then we take care of, again, air, visa, and you know what it's like, regional travel. Then we have to stay on for weeks. We have a child at QEH right now. She's there for 6 months, having treatment, cancer treatment, so 6 months in Barbados. But again, there's a lady, family, who's taking her in, and we're paying her. But yes, she's like a mother looking over the whole, you know, family. It takes a village, you know. You have to have the community. So it's always very dynamic, and